we've got Advocate Tanvir Ahmed Mir, who's with us here on the broadcast. Thank you very much for joining us on Mirror Now. Your first reaction to this entire issue here, because obviously it's not simply a case of the lookout circular being quashed, but everything that the court has said, the fact that an apology has been asked for to be issued by the CBI to Aakar Patel as well.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I think the order is most appropriate, and at this juncture in today's time, it's most wanted. Most importantly, it's a court of a learned ACMM from Rouse Avenue courts showing a lot of spine that the law enforcement agencies cannot sort of, act with a sense of impunity from ever. And this is a first of a kind order where a court of competent jurisdiction has directed the director CBI to offer an unconditional apology to an applicant. But you're right that the manner and mechanism in which Mr. Aakar Patel's LOC was opened, despite the fact that he cooperated with the investigation and he was never informed about the LOC, there was no reasonable basis for CBI to initiate the LOC. So when the honorable judge in the morning hours during the course of argument pointedly and persistently asked the CBI investigators to show any reasonable basis, they came a cropper. And therefore, there are these scathing, unprecedented strictures and observations against a federal law investigating agency. What I will say that Aakar Patel's LOC, the manner and mechanism in which it was opened, only reaffirms that the federal law investigating agency like CBI is a caged parrot beyond reasonable doubt. And today it has been proved. The court has passed a strong order. I feel that even other courts, and most importantly, the apex court should also, in appropriate cases, send a very strong signal in the society and to the law enforcement agencies. And zealously, at the end of the day, protect the fundamental rights. Yes, there have to be checks and balances. It's not one way. The right of investigators have to be protected. Simultaneously, the rights of citizens also have to be protected.
Yes.
Today's order is a manifest demonstration of the court indulging in checks and balances, finding the CBI most wanting, and therefore passing a more than an appropriate order.
Yes, and just to take that point that you mentioned forward in terms of another point that is also in the order that I just want to read out for our viewers as well. The LOC was moved on the day the charge sheet was complete and dispatched for filing in the court. It shows that it is not the case of oversight or ignorance. Rather, it is a deliberate act of the investigating agency to put restriction on the valuable rights of the accused. I think this statement is also the other thing that really stands out in this entire order.
The law enforcement agency knows law very well. They are well versed with the procedure. It's not that they are bunnies at procedure. The investigating officer upon filing of the charge sheet, which he did not do. As a matter of fact, when you file a charge sheet in an offense under the FCRA, you have to also seek a sanction. Now, CBI has filed a charge sheet without seeking a sanction, which means that you have filed a charge sheet for the heck of it, knowing very well that the judge will not even take cognizance of the offense. So on one hand, you have a farcical charge sheet filed for the heck of it in a court of law, and on the other hand, you want to put fetters on the rights of an individual in traveling abroad. So the courts, lawyers, judges, for last so many more than 60 years, we have religiously, with a religious zeal, protected the fundamental rights of the citizens. we're not going to give up so easily.
Yes, absolutely. Tanvir Ahmed Mir, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time out to speak to us. Let me also go across to Majid Memon, who's joining us as well on the broadcast. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Your reaction to the way this entire order has been worded, the points that have been mentioned, and most importantly, the fact that the CBI has been asked to tender an apology to Aakar Patel. Majid Memon, if my voice is reaching you?
Yes, I'm hearing everything I heard Advocate Tanvir as well.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you
Yes.
that, you see, this Aakar Patel is a senior journalist of eminence, of great reputation. Now, at the drop of the hat, if CBI is abusing its power to issue lookout notice or to strand somebody, to block somebody's movement, only a couple of days before, they did it for Rana Ayyub. And she was stopped from going to UK. The court released her. She had to go. Now, this happened in a couple of days, the second instance where the court has been even harsh in inviting an apology from CBI. Now, even apology is not adequate. I'm afraid. I'm sorry to say, with respect to CBI officials, that this is a situation where CBI should be fined heavily and reprimanded, that if they continue to do such acts of abusing power, then they will not be spared by the court, and the court will come out with a heavy hand. Let me tell you that it's a settled law. Supreme Court has repeatedly said to all the investigating officers belonging to various agencies, central, state, local, everyone, they have stated in terms of use of power. They said to have power is one thing and to exercise power is another thing. Don't think that if the powers are there given to you by law so that you can use as and when you want according to your whim and fancy. And these days, you see, there's a lot of noise about abuse of these agencies by harassing citizens. Some of them are maybe innocent, for some ill-motivated preconceived notions. The Chief Justice of India, Justice Ramanna, has just last week said that the credibility of central investigating agency has eroded, and people are scared that these agencies are they're abusing their power, and therefore, according to Chief Justice of India, I think if Union Home Minister is hearing me through you, I would appeal to him, please lend your ear to the officer who is the highest judicial officer in the country, sitting at the top of judicial pyramid. He says that central agencies, if they are abusing their power, then there is a need to have a monitoring body. And that monitoring body, I may suggest, should be of parliamentarians from different political parties. And they should watch that if the CBI, ED, or any other central investigating agency is abusing its authority or power, then the law must heavily come upon them.
Yes, absolutely. Majid Memon, thank you so much for joining us with your perspective.